In Christianity, Jesus was able to perform certain miracles such as walking on waters, make the dead alive again, use a few fish to feed a multitude. Can anyone in Buddhism do similar things? According to Sutras, according to Abhidharma, according to books of Buddhism discourses, there are many arahats, many bodhisattvas who actually perform miracles, many of them. But the Buddha obviously would like to stop his disciples from doing it, because doing that would create a lot of far-reaching effects which are problematic. Why? Because, say, if someone who wants to demonstrate supernatural powers that he already have obtained, what's the objective behind it? The objective behind it could be so inherent in greediness that he wanted to show, oh, I have the power. I can do supernatural power. So it's a self-aggrandizement of the I, of the ego. I obtained supernatural power. I can demonstrate it. I'm better than you because I know and you don't know. So that's actually an exaggeration of the ego. That's number one. It could be like that. Number two, there could be an attached objective to it. I want to show my supernatural power to you because I want to gain your respect, or I want to profit from it. Because maybe in the future, if you know that I have supernatural power, you will come to me, and I can make use of this ability to make money. And also, not only did the arahats, the Buddhist arahats, have supernatural power, many of these other practices of other teachings can also arrive at some supernatural powers too. Not just the Buddha's teaching. In other words, if you practice in certain some ascetic meditational practices, they still could obtain supernatural powers. If that's the case, you cannot differentiate what arise from meditation and what arise from other meditation techniques. So there will be a confusion created from people who demonstrate supernatural power. So if someone who practices some deviant meditational technique, he may obtain supernatural power too, and he may show that power. And the follower will say, oh, he knows the supernatural power, that must be the Buddha's teaching. So it could have mistaken the Buddha, that's for a Buddhist teaching. So the Buddha discouraged his disciples from making supernatural powers. If they really want to use supernatural powers to heal people, to help people, it will be hidden. In other words, he already demonstrated supernatural power to you without you noticing it, without outwardly showing it. It could have helped you in many ways without you showing it. For example, communication to spirits. Say if you are being trapped by a spirit encumbrance, one way or another, the arahat may be able to communicate with the spirit and say, depart from him because he is practicing the right way, and it would be meritorious for you not to disturb him so that he can gain his enlightenment. So he may have already exercised supernatural power without you noticing. He may have already helped you without you noticing it. If he exercised supernatural power in healing, he may have already done it, that heal you. So there's so many problems in demonstrating supernatural powers. And many people were being cheated by fake supernatural powers too. If you start to be very superstitiously believe in supernatural power, there could be con artists who set up supernatural powers. For example, in some country that we discover later, Qigong, Qigong, Qi, and there was a man who claimed himself to be a Qigong master, and he was able to draw water from the air. He just do that, and there will be some water. He used a cup, and then by supernatural power, the cup will contain some water. And later they found out that it's just magic. It's not supernatural power. It's just man-made magic. And also it could be a collaboration of two con artists. There was a man who said he was able to use energy to actually attract you to move your position. So in other words, if he's standing, say, about 6 meters away from you, he was able to use Qigong to slowly absorb you into closer and closer until he can hit you. Actually, 2 con artists set up such a play. He was trying, slowly going forward, and he said, oh, I'm being attracted by the Qigong. So there's a lot of problem in showing supernatural powers. And if you become superstitious in certain things, you get blindfolded into it, that you may just believe it without knowing that it's just a magical trick. So don't believe in supernatural power. The supernatural power is in you. You have that power. You have that telepathy. Sometimes I can feel it too. Sometimes if I have been back meditating for a long time, that I'm in tranquility, if I talk to someone, I know how he feels. That's natural to you too. You can do the same thing. So you have those supernatural power. It's just that power has been covered up by your own delusions like greediness, hatred, jealousy, anxiety, fear. So August the 4th, we have no meditation, right? August the 4th. And right now we'll continue with the smaller Sukhavati Vyuha Sutra. We'll continue. We have lectured that before, but not in detail. We would like to do it in detail. And if we can, we'll also bring up the longer Sukhavati Vyuha Sutra. The practice of chanting of Amitabha name in order to be reborn in the land of in Sukhavati Vyuha is quite new in North America. Because in North America, most people just believe in meditation. But just using meditation to get out from samsara is extremely difficult because people spend hours every day. All those sages, they were hermit, spent hours every day to do meditation until they purified. They get complete purification to get into the 4 stages. But how can you and me, being common ordinary people, practicing maybe at the most half an hour or 1 hour per day, and we can be a Buddha? We're cheating ourselves. Plus life is getting more and more busy, more and more tension and stress, and more responsibilities. How can we practice like in the ancient times? Life is getting more and more complicated with improvement in hardware, actually. We're more convenient. We're getting more convenient, but it seems that we are lacking behind in our spirituality. Mass communication have brought family members together closer by communicating with the phone. The family members don't get to see each other. They just communicate by phone. More and more improvement in medicine and in technologies have improved our health, but it seems that we have more and more psychological problems that are not related to the physical ones. Warfare seems in the ancient days are using weapons and cannons and tanks, but now not the same anymore. Just a push of a button can destroy the country. So I don't know whether we are advancing forward or in which direction we are going. I think we need to be more spiritual. It's beneficial for you and me to be more spiritual and not just blindly seeking for materiality. Because it does not matter how much you seek, how much you can achieve, your desire is always insatiable. Imagine all those rich, very rich people. Are they happy? How did they pass their lives? How did they live? Is there any meaning in life? We have enough to live by, but nothing to live for. No objectives in life. We have material, but we don't have an objective of living. It seems that we are moving every day closer and closer to death, which is a factual reality. So let's getting more and more spiritual by learning more about what the Buddha has offered to tell us.